Oh, it has been quite a minute, hasn't it? It's been quite a minute since I last been on the show. Oh man, there's a lot of people been questioning me too, like, yo, wondering when is the next episode. Like, I've actually had people that's been asking me when is the next episode coming, even through my procrastination. Like, a lot of shit's been going on lately. A lot of shit's been going on throughout my mind, and I feel like now's the perfect time to just share it out, because I kept it bottled in for so long and just kept quiet to where it's just like I need to have some space to just let it out. You know what I'm saying? Just let my thoughts out in a nice, peaceful manner. Maybe peaceful, maybe in an angrily way. We don't motherfucking know. Let's just see how this fucking goes out real quick. So first things first, current events. I did experience going out to one of the protests that happened. Protests that happened after the George Floyd incident sparked a global, I call it a global pandemic, just like coronavirus did. The whole world just spiraled out of control into just, protesting and just like finally seeing all the fucking, corruption and fucking, the crazy shit that's been happening towards us black folks. So it's like, it's about time that the world finally opened their eyes to understand all the racism, all the police brutality, all of the motherfucking hate crimes that's been committed on us on a daily basis for centuries. It's finally being brought to the light after all these centuries of just it being under the radar, apparently, to where it just, now everybody wants to speak out and say stuff and start movements, which I'm actually good. I'll actually say it's an honor to be in this time that we're in, because it's like a brief glimpse of the past, like, from civil rights movement and such things like that. So that's the way I treat it as. So I had the opportunity of protesting in my city of Wilmington, Delaware, a couple months ago, when protests were just being, were just spiraling out, at randoms. So it was an interesting time to be out there, because I saw all the diversity in the group, where there was white folk, there was black folk, there was Hispanics, there was everybody out there just joined together in unity for a peaceful movement, a peaceful protest. So that was something that was really touching, and it felt powerful to be a part of a movement like that, Like, I took it upon myself to just go out there and possibly even put my life on the line, because we had no idea what the fucking cops were capable of. We saw what the police were capable of doing in other states when they were protesting. So it was like, I knew the risks, so I still want to go out there and stand with my people, and I chose to do that. And it was a very powerful thing, walking around the city just chanting, I can't breathe, like, hands up, don't shoot. Like, we just out there just walking around the city, from the council building to the police station, and just making a statement by closing down the bridge into the city, and then going out to the highway I-95. Like, that shit was where I took a pause at. I took a pause when they were trying to go on I-95 on the highway, and I was like, that's something that's a little too extreme. It was like a moment of choice in that moment, like a red pill, blue pill type of situation. Like, do I want to go and show that I'm actually really like trying to stand with my people, and show that I'm just as angry as they are about all the fucking, corrupted shit that's been going on towards us as a race, all the unfair shit that's been going on towards us as a race. That it was like, do I have the courage to go out there with those people that have that courage and actually make a stand, or am I going to be too coward to do it? Am I going to just be the one that just tries to sit on the side and just hope that, something good happens, but never make a move or never make a statement? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I going to be that one that's just coward and sitting on the side because I'm too afraid of what can happen to my life, if I decide to take that step? So it was like a red pill, blue pill type of situation for me in that moment. And the most interesting thing that happened during that moment was before I could really even make the choice whether if I wanted to go to the highway, because they were blocking off traffic of even going to the highway. So people were actually like standing in front of the entranceway to I-95, blocking off traffic with their bodies. Some people tried to literally rush their car even through the people. They tried to rush their car past them. Some had no mercy of even running them over in the process. So it was so scary seeing that, because I was almost tempted to stand out there with them, but I said no. No. I don't know what everybody's capable of doing, so I'm not going to do that at all. I refuse to put my life at risk like that, knowing that I have a lot to live for as well. So that was me essentially taking the easy way out of just, of cowardice. But at the same time, before I could make the decision to actually start going on 95, my father is amongst the traffic impeded traffic to the highway. He's amongst the traffic in there, and he sees me out there, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. This is gonna be a very, very bittersweet moment, because it was the first time where I realized that I was a grown man. I'm 21 years old. I realized I was a grown man, and I was able to actually tell my father no, because he was worried of my safety. I know for a fact. He saw me, he got out of his car, he was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, get in the car. Like, he said, I understand what you're doing, but this is not how you do it. Like, get in the car. And the whole time, like, I respect my father so much to where I could not tell him no. I did not want to tell him no, because I felt like I felt like it was just wrong. It was just a bad thing to do, just to tell my father no, because he demanded that I do something. Like, the typical parent thing where parent tells you to do something, you listen and obey. So it's like, even in that moment where I'm a grown man, it's like I have my own rights. I can stand for what I believe in. I can make my own decisions. Nobody can tell me shit but the law. And it's like, I could not tell my father no. I couldn't tell him. The only thing I kept telling him was, I said, Pop, I'm okay. I'm not a part of that, but you know what I'm here for. Like, what the real reason I'm here, and I'm the real reason why I'm out here for. So I kept telling him that, as he kept repeatedly telling me to get in the car, because I really just did not want to tell him no, because I felt like that was going to start so much tension between us just by me saying no. Because that's a strong word to tell your parents, So it's like, sometimes, you might say it on accident, and then they might give you that look and be like, what you say? You'd be like, oh snap, my bad, no, I didn't mean to say that. So it was like, I had that moment where I could have said it and just been like, nah, like, no, you can't make me. But I couldn't, out of honor and respect for my father. So the most noble thing that he did, though, was that he drove his car. He did a U-turn around. He did a U-turn around and had parked his car into the nearby gas station from where we were standing at. And he got out of his car, put his mask on, because of course everybody was recommended that you had mask on, but a lot of people had their mask. It was like a half and half mix. People had their mask on, some people didn't. So it was like anybody that was paranoid of getting coronavirus, it was like nobody gave a fuck at that moment. Like, everybody was out there just to be out there for the protest. They didn't give a fuck about what coronavirus was going to do. So I had my mask on, though, so I understand that I was being really, really safe and cautious, because I was not trying to get that shit, trust me. But he put his mask on when he got out of the car, and he walked over to me and he said, if you're going to be out here, I'm going to be out here with you. That was like the most heartfelt moment I had with my pop, because it really showed that, we could be on two different sides of things, but because like we have that bond, that father-son bond, just like A1, like we're not going to let that stop us from like, still like standing together with each other. So it was like we just sat and just watched what transpired, throughout the day, like throughout the time that we was there. Cars still trying to like get through the highway. Then eventually some people that were for the protest in the traffic, they drove their cars and parked their cars on the side with the people to block the traffic, block the entrance to I-95 with their cars along with the people. So it was people getting out of the cars, actually trying to make a statement with us as well. So it was really crazy seeing that. Everybody started making U-turns around, couldn't get through the I-95, and of course the police started pulling up and started forming up and started like, closing in on the highway, just trying to like, try to create the peace and just make everybody like, get their words out, let them express their, their frustration and their anger, and then just and let it just ease everything down. Because then, of course, later on that day, it turned into the infamous riots. The infamous riots that you saw all across the nation. Them motherfuckers was looting, breaking down breaking down buildings that were worked so hard on and worked so well on. People had businesses in there that they had so many years put into just for that shit to get vandalized in the blink of an eye. They didn't even do anything, or at least I would hope they didn't do anything bad to deserve that shit. But it's like, god damn, like, they work so hard on their business and that shit gets trashed and stolen in the blink of an eye. So I went back inside after after the protest earlier in the day. Later in the day, when I saw that everybody was still protesting and essentially what was going to initiate the riots, I started to go out there again just so I could kind of film a little bit to see what I saw. And of course, I wasn't surprised when I just saw the typical crowd of people just committing vandalism and just fucking rioting and shit. Because it was just like, all right, we get that we upset. We made the stand with our protest earlier in the day. So what is the purpose of going to Sneaker Villa and going out and taking some Air Ones and shit? You know what I'm saying? What's the purpose of going to Sneaker Villa and stealing that shit? What's the purpose of going to fucking T-Mobile and fucking breaking down a window and thinking that you want to get a free motherfucking iPhone XR or some shit? You know what I'm saying? What makes you think that you're just gonna get a free phone just by you going in there and stealing it? Y'all not forget that you have to fucking activate that shit when you purchase it. They have to activate that phone, for you to be able to function. You can't just take a phone and just think that it's just gonna function because you took it. Like, there's a lot of more terminology to that thing, but I was like, that was so dumb. And I know there was people that definitely agreed, like, that was so dumb, because they definitely did send messages to every phone that was stolen saying, please return this phone to this store. This phone is actually locked and will not be unlocked until you purchase it. So everybody was looking dumb. They probably got hyped when they took phone cases or phone charges or something, but other than that, it was like there was no purpose of even, stealing from places that you really couldn't even steal from, or wasn't even worth stealing from, or wasn't even worth, destroying. So it was like those protests, those riots that I saw, I was just like disappointed, but I wasn't surprised, because it was stuff that you would expect when there's a crowd full of angry black folk, all together, for the cause and stuff, for the frustration of police brutality and all the fucking just mistreatment that we've been facing for so many centuries. So I would understand the frustration without a doubt. The frustration is within all of us, so that's completely understood. But that's just how you make problems even worse, just by creating more tension between us and the law and the authorities. Because now it's like they're gonna look at us thinking that we're just gonna be so crazy and so rampant in these cities now, to where they're gonna have to apply necessary force to keep us maintained. Hence, motherfucking, what was that, martial law or some shit? Having the motherfucking military be deployed out there and shit now during these protests and during these riots and shit, because of course that's what they fear, that I feel like that's what they fear, that every protest is going to lead to a riot. So that's why they have that extra defense there, just in case anybody tries some shit. And then of course it's like that's what gives the authorities even more fucking ability to abuse their power, because now it's like, oh, we out here and we can do whatever the fuck we want if you guys fucking trip. So the moment you trip, I got my motherfucking shit ready to either motherfucking dish some hella pain to you or to motherfucking kill your ass. And they will have no remorse, because they are ordered to even use necessary force, which even can resort to lethal force, right? If it's necessary, if they feel like their life is possibly in danger. Like, everybody out there has the potential to have a gun, in their pockets and shit, or have a knife or have a weapon of some sort that's just gonna threaten their life. When they have protective gear, they have full-blown riot gear, armor that's fucking, padded up to where they're just so protected. They got fucking bulletproof vests and shit. They got masks on. They got helmets. They got fucking guns. They got nightsticks. They got assault rifles. They got tear gas. They got everything loaded up to go into a war with. And you mean to tell me the people are the dangerous people, are really the enemies that you want to look at? They're really the enemies that you want to apply that force to? The people that are walking out there with signs, just signs with paper, signs of paper and marker written on that paper. Is that a deadly weapon of any sort? Using their words, their mouth, using their speech. They're expressing their frustration. They're expressing their thoughts in their mind. They're expressing it out loud just by vocal communication. Not no fighting, not no vandalizing. They're out there. Those, I'm saying, the people that are doing that, you know, the ones that are actually protesting peacefully using their voice. Those are the ones I'm always in direct to, which I prefer that 100%. The ones that are protesting but also being a tad bit violent and being a little aggressive towards other people or bystanders that kind of are against the cause, but it's like you can disagree with somebody, but it's like if they're having a peaceful disagreement, just like you're having a peaceful protest, it's like you can't get furious about that, you know, like somebody that disagrees with Black Lives Matter or some shit, like counter with all lives matter and such things like that. You can't get mad if their argument is as peaceful as your protest is. You know, you may disagree with them, but it's like, what do you need to get as furious as to wanting to fight and agitate them just because you don't like the fact of what they're standing for or what they're representing? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, as they say, all lives don't matter until Black lives matter. And I believe that Black lives, of course, always matters. All lives matter as well. No life is less, regardless of the skin color. No life is less than another. That's the general principle that I feel like every human being needs to set in their head. Every human being needs to set that all lives are equal, regardless of the skin color. The fact that we don't have that as a general principle, we never had that as a general principle, or I'm sure we never, matter of fact, I don't even believe we've ever had that as a general principle to begin with. So it's the fact that we've never said that as a general principle, that is the reason why there has always been this mistreatment, because there's always been that historic belief that once upon a time, whites was so dominant and up in power to where it's like, where did they go wrong? Where did they lose that power? Oh, everybody got tired that they had all that power, so of course everybody was crying out for freedom all the time, and they eventually had to give that freedom to people. But in the end, we still have to make sure that we have that grip on that power that we originally had, so you know, we don't lose control over the people. You know, the people that are less fortunate and the people that are not, that we were able to push back for so many generations. We were able to push them back to where it's like, okay, once we see them rising up to kind of reaching on our level of intelligence, that's where we got to realize we got to set the bar to kind of like limit them from getting any higher, or we got to set them even lower, or we got to silence anybody that's able to surpass that point of where we try to block them at. That's like the harsh reality that you got to live in this fucking country, man. The harsh fucking reality. And it's like, it's not surprising. It's nothing different. It's nothing new. And it's nothing that will ever fucking change. I'm not gonna be fucking surprised if I go outside and get shot in my fucking head just because I just decided to go outside one fucking time today. If I didn't go outside, I could have been fucking living for another 20 to 30 years. But I decided to go outside one time thinking that it's a nice, beautiful day. I can get some fresh air. I can fucking take a walk down to the park or something, you know what I'm saying? And next thing I know, I get hit with a motherfucking straight bullet from a drive-by, or a motherfucking, like, I don't know, like a motherfucker that's just out there trying to shoot motherfuckers. Not to mention, I also have the risk of fucking also being at the risk of death from just a motherfucker that just hates the fact that I have the skin color to begin with. Hates the fact that I have that shit and can't stand the fact that I'm breathing the same air that he's breathing. Cannot stand the fact that I am trying to live my life peacefully, feeling as though me living my life peacefully is impeding his life advances or some shit like that, to where he has to eliminate me no matter fucking what. No matter fucking what. I don't have to even do shit to be on somebody's kill list. How fucking crazy is that? How fucking unfair is that? Like, how fucking, and then we got the motherfucking authorities that we supposed to call for protection. The law enforcement's, right? 911, call that shit the moment somebody fucking is robbing your house, right? But of course, for us, we got responding officers that respond about a good maybe hour or two after the crime happened, right? Shit like that. Responding so late to criminal activity in a motherfucking black community, which is very, very common, I'm sure of it. Not to mention also believing that all black folks are criminals. I'm sure there's always that general assumption that in the black community, any call from anybody that calls 911 is a guaranteed possible criminal or possible felon on, that you could just easily sniff up the moment you just sniff some, some drugs on him or something, or decide you want to, agitate him to where you feel like he's about to use necessary force to where you got to arrest him. So it's just like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's just that weird thought process in terms of just how these problems just happen just off a chance. It's for no reason at all. Like, what is the purpose of you needing to like apply unnecessary force to somebody that's completely complying with orders? They're telling you, put your hands in the air, do not move. Hands in the air, not moving. Why the fuck did I just get shot in the stomach, yo? Why? Do you ever think of that? Why the fuck? Like, I had my hands in the air. Why the fuck did I get shot in the stomach when I listened? I fucking obeyed orders. I got shot in my stomach. Think of that scenario with all of the motherfuckers that have died unarmed, complied with officers, 100% did not resist arrest, and was just shot just because there was an instinct in the officer's brain where he felt like the sudden twitch of their finger was a possible movement of escaping, or possibly taking their gun and turning it on them and killing them. Like one false movement of their finger, or just a cough, or I don't know, reaching for their wallet when they said out their mouth, I am reaching for my wallet for my identification that you just asked for. And then you decide to point the gun right into my motherfucking face and then shoot, thinking that I was reaching for a deadly weapon when he just said out his mouth what he was reaching for. It's not, you can't make it any clearer than that. That is the reality that we face. You cannot make it any clearer than that. That is the reality that we face, and that is the reality that we need to understand and make a desperate change to, because it is completely unacceptable. And as long as you remain silent about this shit, it will remain this way. So that is why everybody says use your motherfucking voice. Please express your voice. If you're mad about this, then you're in the right place, because you should be mad about that. If you're not mad about that, or if you don't find any of that, of what I just said, a logical reason to actually be upset, something's wrong with you, man. Something's wrong with you, man. All I can say is something's wrong with you. So thank y'all. I know it's been a little while since I last did my talk show. I know I've been procrastinating on that shit a lot. I've been having a lot of things in my mind, a lot of things in my head that I like to think about from time to time. So it's like I be trying to find the time to sit and talk about what goes on in my head. And then I have my other YouTube channel that I do for gaming that I've been working on a lot as well. And then of course I've also been being productive in my life, as well as being in school, and also having the possibility of having a bright future. So there's been a lot of things that's been happening. So I've just been very, very humble and very grateful, and just been very patient with things. So I hope you guys continue to be patient with me as well as I continue to work on some new episodes for my podcast. So thank you for being patient for this episode. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day. Be blessed, be safe, and I will see you guys on the next episode, man.